also, these are kids that have been born, assumedly born and raised in Zimbabwe. Like this 91-degree heat at 10 a.m. on a September morning isn't something that's new to them. Like, I don't know. It's just trying to explain it away by like natural weather phenomenon or natural like mass hysteria. It just seems silly to me. I'm like, sorry, I'm like shooting down any skepticism of it. This for me is one of the most fascinating UFO stories I've ever read.
This is up there for me with like Hopkinsville and Rochester Force in England, a story we'll get to on a future episode. This is up there of we can't explain this shit. I think I don't believe these kids are acting maliciously. They acted maliciously. I don't think these kids are lying. I think these kids are telling the truth. I don't think these kids saw a mirage. I don't think this was mass hysteria. I think this is something unknown. What it is, it's pointing towards occupants of the craft from a different world. I don't know, but looking at the evidence, all the about everything laid out, what the hell was it? It wasn't anything. It couldn't be anything from this world. I hate to probably agree with you, Ogul, but I'm with you on this one. Until further evidence goes, I'm with these kids saw a unidentified flying object and occupants not of this world.
I mean, just imagine like if there were some adults who also saw this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be an open shut case even for skeptics. But the fact that it's kids leaves the door open for skepticism to come and say they're just like children with imaginations.
Yeah, and this is also the ageism that gets on my nerve because kids of a certain age are not reliable witnesses. That's fucking bullshit. Because you're a certain age, whether you're young or too old, you're not a reliable witness. I mean, if you've done a cognitive, I believe they did cognitive tests with these kids that say these kids are fit and mentally fit and their eyesight is well and good. Just because you're a certain age, it doesn't mean you're not a reliable witness.
If eyewitness, it's not a new thing for eyewitness testimony to be unreliable when people are just 1 to 5, 10 maybe, but 62 humans we're talking about here.
And they all give the same description of what they saw. Yeah. Those they were interviewed.
And by the way, that 62 number is like an estimate, right?
Right.
There were like over 100 kids at the school.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind. That number could be higher.
Yeah, there might be some kids that they did report that did see the same thing.
Exactly.
That don't want to say anything.
Exactly. At the beginning of the story, you said no less than 62 kids, but they didn't really say how many kids could have been exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they could have been a whole damn school. Every school kid out there.
Exactly.
So,
anyways, that's sort of all I have on this one.
Yeah, that's all I get. If you were there, I won't put this out there. If you're listening to this and you were there, and you can prove that you were there, don't give me no quirks because people try to run a damn game on you. Were there? Email weekendweird@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Don't mean I'm gonna put you on the show. Just I want to hear if you were there and you feel and you could prove it, and I want to hear your story.
Or if you if you know anybody that was there,
let us know at Weekend Weird Podcast. At weekendweird at gmail.com, or you can go on our Twitter page at Weekend Weird Podcast.
Cool.
So, all right, let's move on to our second and final story. We believe that the United States government might have confirmed the existence of UFOs. Possibly. Not to say that
it's more than possibly.
Yes, but I'm going to go possibly. Because they could just come out tomorrow and be like, yeah, remember that UFO stuff we all showed you all over the newspapers on 60 Minutes last weekend? Yeah, we made that shit up. It was swamp gas. We're moving on. Now, no one broke into the Capitol, or Jay was... Yeah, and you've seen, if you're listening to this podcast, you've definitely seen it on the news if you heard about it, that the United States government and members of the United States military have shared, and the intelligence agencies have shared information stating that there is they're acknowledging the possible existence of UFOs. Some former federal officials have acknowledged the possibility of existence of UFOs weeks before an actual government-sanctioned report on an unidentified flying aerial phenomenon is expected to be sent to Congress because of the COVID relief, part of the COVID relief package that was signed by former President. Yeah, that guy.
45.
Yeah, 45. Before he was ceremoniously kicked his ass out of office. Part of that bill, that COVID relief bill, the part of your $600 checks that you received, stated that the United States intelligence agencies in the military have 180 days to present a report to the United States Congress either confirming or very vehemently denying the possibility of UFOs. So, Ogul, that being said, how do you feel?
So I feel very, 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 very excited about the story. It's been 6 years in the making. So for those of you that don't know, a 2015 footage from 2015 and I believe 2012 were released to the public. The New York Times released footage from the U.S. government of Navy jets tracking UFOs.
Right.
The story came out. It didn't garner much fanfare. It didn't really get talked about a lot outside of the UFO community. Kind of went viral there for a little bit. Like a few years later, I think got brought up again. And then it sort of quieted down and kind of went away again. And then this story comes out on 60 Minutes last weekend. And I cannot wait to see what this report's going to say.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of it. I didn't know about it till the last minute because I was doing something else on this past Sunday. But I heard a little bit about it. Some of the footage I've already seen, like the footage in 2004, which former Navy pilot David Favors discussed that there was an incident off the coast of Southern California. We said he and 3 other pilots had spotted an unexplained large area of rowing white water surrounding by a calm sea, and then he sees a little white tit-tat object, and he proceeds to follow it. And it's on Navy footage of them following this little object around and trying to get a lock on it. And it was just doing a bunch of different things that was not... you couldn't do with any regular airplane. Either if you tried to do it, you would stall out or die, or the plane didn't have that technology to be able to do what this little tic-tac was able to do. And other videos of other unidentified aerial phenomenon that was going on. So the government has to come up with a report. I'm very interested with it. I think if you are not out of town, Ogul, when the report is available to the public, I think that we should get our hands on it and do an episode on it when we go through the report. I think that would be great. I'll set aside whatever episode that we're going to do, and we'll just run through the report, and we'll go through it as best as we can. That also what the act that this all must be gathered in is the Intelligence Authorization Act of 2001, which contains a massive spending bill. That report must contain detailed analysis of UFO data and intelligence collected by the Office of Naval Intelligence, the Unidentified Area Phenomenon Task Force. I didn't know it was a fucking task force, in the FBI. It should also describe a detailed and interagency process to ensure timely data collection and centralized analysis of all unidentified aerial phenomena reporting for the federal government, and designate an official responsible for that process. The report should also identify any potential national security threats posed by UFOs and assess whether any of the nation's adversaries could be behind such activity. Oh, cool. You got any thoughts?
No, continue.
All right. The submitted report should also be unclassified. Though it can contain a classified annex, so they could black out some things in the report.
Sure. I mean, that's assuming. That was already an assumption.
Yeah. Last April, the Pentagon released 3 short videos showing unidentified aerial phenomenon that the U.S. Navy had captured. The videos, one from 2004, which I just spoke about, and the 2 others from 2015, which you had spoke about, Ogul, show what appear to be unidentified flying objects rapidly moving while recording by infrared camera. 2 of the videos contain service members reacting in awe to how quickly the objects are moving. One voice speculates that it could be a drone. Looking at the videos again, which are available on YouTube, if you're curious to look at these videos, they ain't no goddamn drone.
They're available everywhere right now because of the 60-minute story. They're all over. Just type in literally just go to Google and type in 60 minutes. The top story.
Yeah.
Top story.
It's unclear what the objects are, and there are no consistencies for their origin. I'm reading from the news report from CNN. By the way, some believe that there may be drones potentially operated by earthly adversaries seeking to gather intelligence rather than extraterrestrials that we normally equate with UFOs. In August, the Pentagon announced it was forming a task force to investigate. Members of Congress and Pentagon officials have been long concerned about the appearance of the unidentified aircraft that has flown over U.S. military bases. The Senate's Intelligence Committee voted last June to have the Pentagon and intelligence community provide a public analysis of the encounters. But it's not the first time the Pentagon has looked into aerial encounters with unknown objects. The Pentagon previously studied recordings of such incidents as part of a since shuttered classified program launched at the behest of former Senator and former Democratic Majority Leader Senator Harry Reid from Nevada. The program was launched in 2007 and ended in 2012, according to the Pentagon, because they assessed there were higher priorities that needed funding, like a new crapper and the rear admirals of the Navy's head.
Go
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to read the former head of that program was Luis Elizondo.
And that's who appears on the 60 Minutes episode.
Yeah, he says that the videos are very credible, compelling evidence that they may not be alone.
Yeah, what I loved his opening line, or like one of the opening lines of the interview, he essentially says something like, "I'm not saying that this is happening. Your government is saying that this is happening."
Right.
The fact that the Pentagon released these videos last September.
Mm-hmm. And this is not
Hmm.